Hi, and welcome to Chef Maxwell's Kitchen. We're going to have a chance today to play again with some great Virginia foods. We're going to be playing with shrimp, not normally known as a Virginia food, but we can get it here, right? And something made from corn. Now, this is just as Virginia as it gets. We're working with grits. So we're dealing with coarse ground corn here, which is hominy, ground up by stone to make grits. Right? Now, you can buy grits in other forms, but I buy it from a mill out near Ashland. Right? They've been grinding it since Patrick Henry's day. Wonderful stuff, good, rich flavor, and I've been cooking it here for a while because it takes a little bit longer than normal grits to cook. So this has been cooking now for about 20 minutes, right? And I'm going to finish it off so we can let it simmer again. I'm going to add some cream to this. All I did was start some butter, saute off some onions and some garlic, right? Add some stock, some chicken stock, right? And now I'm going to add some cream. You can use milk. You can even use low-fat or non-fat milk if you want. But I use the cream to get a real nice, full flavor. And since nobody eats that much grits, because it's pretty rich, right, you're not worrying about too much fat being in the mix. Now I'm going to add a little bit of Parmesan cheese and let that simmer for a little while. We'll just let that cook until it absorbs the liquid, becomes the texture that we want. Meanwhile, we're going to work on the shrimp. And this is a recipe that comes to us from the Caribbean through Charleston and to New Orleans. It's kind of a derivation of the etouffee recipe. And I've got some butter working. I'm going to add some garlic, right, and stir that around. Right. Now I'm going to add some flour, right, to make what's known as a roux. I'm going to stir that around. Right. Now, to make a good Cajun roux, like for a gumbo, you want to cook this for a while and let it get nice and brown. But we're making a shrimp and grits, and it's not quite as deep a brown as that. So we're not going to let it cook that long. We're going to add some onions, all right, and some green peppers, and some celery. Now, in Cajun country, this is known as the trilogy. Onions, green peppers, and celery. Very little gets cooked down there without it, but they all grow very nicely here in Virginia. And we're going to let that simmer a little bit. What we want to do is make sure the flour's cooked out so there's no flour taste, and the vegetables have begun to soften. Once that's done, we're going to add some shrimp stock. Now you can add vegetable stock or chicken stock or whatever kind of stock you want. But we're going to add shrimp stock because we're going to be making a shrimp etouffee. All right, we'll let that. You see how it thickens up a little bit from the flour roux. All right, we may need to add water or something a little later on to thin that down a little bit more. All right. The next thing we're going to do, just simmers for a little while, we're going to add a little bit of pepper and let that go. Right. And at this stage, there are lots of things you can do to make it your own. You could add diced tomatoes if you wanted to put tomatoes in here. You could add some other starch component like corn or potatoes. Right. Anything that you want. You could use red peppers and yellow peppers, all kinds of different things you can do to it. We're making a very basic version here. And then once the vegetables have softened, we're going to add the shrimp. And I've got about a pound here of 21, 25 shrimp that have been peeled. All right, we're going to stir that around and let them simmer in this sauce. Just going to let them cook down a little bit. All right, it's going to take about 3 to 5 minutes for these shrimp to cook. And when they're done, we'll be back to put this plate together so you get a chance to see what it looks like, and we'll get a chance to taste it. All right, you can see how good and pink the color is on these shrimp. They're about ready to go. All right, the grits are ready, so I'm going to load them into this bowl. We're going to go right down in the center with the grits. A couple of nice, good spoonfuls of that. Now we're going to take the shrimp. All right. You go right over the top with that. The smell's delightful. And we're going to sprinkle a little bit of parsley on there. A little basil. And there we've got good Virginia-style shrimp and grits. And once again, I don't care what your mom tells you, it's okay to play with your food. And we'll play with some more food, good Virginia-grown food, when we come back next time. For more delicious recipes using Virginia-grown fruits and vegetables, contact Lisa Lloyd at the Virginia Department of Agriculture, 1100 Bank Street, Richmond, Virginia, 23219.
Chef Maxwell's recipes are listed on the Virginia Farm Bureau website. That's VAFB.com.